Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're doing a no spoilers review of the new movie Terminator Dark Fate. So let's get into it. So, Terminator Dark Fate, or just Dark Fate as I'll call it in this video, is the newest Terminator movie, but it does not exist in the same timeline as Terminator 3, Salvation, or Genesis. It exists alongside Terminators 1 and 2 and acts as if those other sequels had not happened. So, really, this is meant to be the Terminator 3 that just follows 1, 2, and now Dark Fate. So forget that the sequels, whether you like them or not, this takes place outside of those parameters. But with that, having this be a spiritual sequel to T2, there carries a certain level of quality that fans will expect. And I'm not sure if this movie hit the mark. Well, I don't think it did, flat out. With Terminator 1 and 2, those are considered to be the best of the franchise, but they're also considered to be some of the best science fiction movies of all time. It's just how that is. And I'll say this, there are some parts of this movie that I did enjoy. Seeing Linda Hamilton back is amazing. Seeing her back alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger is amazing. I thought Mackenzie Davis did a great job as her character, and I thought Gabriel Luna did a great job as his character, A New Terminator. Otherwise, that's about it. Which is sad. And notice I did not mention Arnold as a standout either. I mentioned seeing him alongside Linda Hamilton is a good thing. Arnold did what Arnold does. I mean, he went up there and he played the Terminator. He played an older Terminator. He did a good job in that, in that standard. However, the direction that character ultimately takes, I did not care for, nor did I care for the direction of typically a lot of characters in this movie, or really the direction of the movie as a whole. This does take a lot of twists and turns, and it actually it takes a lot of big turns that I think people might not enjoy. People were really hyping this up as, oh, this is the one. This is a good Terminator. We had to suffer through 3, Salvation, and Genesis to get to this one. This is the greatest thing since T2. I actually like Terminator 3. Not going to lie. And I think Salvation has its moments as well. Dark Fate, however, I went in kind of being like, yeah, like, let's go. It's got Linda Hamilton, Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, and it's got James Cameron as producer. And it missed the mark for me. It really did. And there are some, I don't know. I feel like this movie really tried to be something it wasn't. The first 2 Terminators were so grounded, even though they were science fiction. The action was brutal, close, most of it practical, and it felt really kind of claustrophobic in a sense. You felt constantly pursued and just hunted, always having to look over your shoulder. And Dark Fate really tries to replicate that, and I think it fails completely. There are some really cool action sequences, and like I said, Gabriel Luna as the evil Terminator, he's amazing. He does a great job being that kind of character. But that I would say that the action in this movie mirrors the prequel Star Wars movie action. Because in the original trilogy, it was a lot slower, a lot more kind of, basic moves and stuff. In the prequels, you had all this acrobatic, running, jumping stuff. And Dark Fate definitely leans into that. There is a lot more verticality, a lot more over the top action. There's a lot of times you think that they should just be dead, or this doesn't make sense, or this was imagined by a 14-year-old. There's a lot of mindless action that I think, if I had to compare it to another movie, would be Transformers, because I like the Transformers movies. I think that they're a good time, but I can admit that they're bad movies. But the action is amazing. The visuals are amazing, and that's the same with Terminator. I think Dark Fate is a bad movie, but it looks amazing and the action is pretty good. It's just the plot and the story and everything else just did not fall in line with me. Meaning that when the action did come, again, while it's cool to look at, I didn't feel any emotional connection to it. But again, I don't mean to crap all over this movie. I think the cast is amazing. I think they did a good job acting. Some rough dialogue, but that's not their problem. That's not their fault. That's the writer's fault. But there is some good to this movie. I think it's a good, kind of just shovel popcorn in your face type good movie. It should have been released, spring if not summer. It's that type. I don't think it should have been dropped in November, late in this year. But that's just my personal opinion on that too. Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, but I didn't think I'd be getting something on the lines of this. I thought it would be a lot more well crafted, but it was really loud and just kind of mindless, I guess, if you want to call it that. Which is sad to say, because when James Cameron said that he gave his seal of approval and that he's being a producer, because I mean he gave a seal of approval for Genesis, and look at that monstrosity. But he was a producer. Like, there were behind the scenes photos of him on set talking to Tim Miller, talking to Linda Hamilton, and I maybe he didn't have as much to do in this movie as we thought he did, because I didn't see many of his footprints. And regardless of your opinion on him, he is one of the most prolific directors and filmmakers of all time. I mean, he's made Titanic and Avatar, which are some of the highest grossing movies ever made in the history of cinema. And he was also producer on Alita Battle Angel, which I like that movie. However, that movie could have totally benefited from having James Cameron be director, or a writer, not just a producer. And I think Dark Fate suffers that same rhythm as well, where I would have preferred Cameron be a writer or even the director as opposed to just a producer, because I don't think he lended his craftsmanship enough to this movie to make it live alongside T1 and T2. But look, I mean, I don't like talking down on movies because so much goes into them, and I never want to persuade someone to not see a movie, even though there are times I'm like, you shouldn't check it out. But I mean, if you really want to see a movie, you should see it regardless of what anybody says. You could watch this and you could go out and you can go see Dark Fate, and I hope you love it. I really do. And I think there are other movies you can see besides this, but if you want to see this, do it, and tell me what you think. I hope you enjoy this movie, because it just wasn't for me, and that is disappointing because I wanted this to work so well, and I sadly don't think it works on any level. I don't see where the franchise could go. And with that, I think they should stop. I really do. You gave it 6 swings at the bat. You got 2 for sure, and 3.5. For me, I like T3 and I like Parts of Salvation. Dark Fate, overall kind of a dud for me, which is sad to say, but I hope you enjoy it. If you go out there, please let me know what you think. Because movies are subjective, and that's the best part about movies. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't either. You might think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I hope you do. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Terminator Dark Fate. I wanted more. I wanted it to be something else, but hey, getting to see Linda Hamilton alongside Arnold one last time, because I mean they're getting pretty old. I don't think they're gonna be doing this again anytime soon. Getting to see them at least one more time back on screen together in these Terminator movies is amazing. So that is my review of Terminator Dark Fate. If you like this video, comment, share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it helps me out a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. All right.